Alright, now let's try this again. I had to get the frogs out of my freaking throat. We're here today, very early actually. We're barely even in April now. To start our 10th edition for Space Crusade. I'm just going to do this right now because I'm going to be doing a little work on the code and also test and make sure that if I can actually record over time and upload to YouTube at the same time on the same drive. And that'll be, of course, recording the desktop and recording a game are two different things, I think. Maybe not, who knows. Anyway, so, to the code. I've been working on this a little bit for the past couple days. And also kind of come some of the stuff I've already established, like the Empire names here. For the backstory and events and stuff on Space Crusade's website. I've been adding a lot more stuff there. A little bit every day so far for the past couple days as well. Usually working on it while I'm waiting for going through Audacity to noise remove all the commentary, if there's commentary for games that I recorded on that day. But so what I've been working on is really just the roulette thing, and also I want to clarify something here. During the last vlog, and we just barely started getting to uploading the parts that actually show the work on the roulette stuff. I know there's probably some people that were sitting at the screen shouting at it, "No, you idiot, it's not that way." And what I'm talking about is the way that the numbers on the wheel are set up. It isn't odd, even, or even, odd, even, odd. It's the first two are like that, but then after that it goes odd, odd. So it goes even, odd, odd, even, odd, odd, even, odd, odd, all the way across till the end where it goes odd, odd on the last one. And I never realized that until just recently when I went back to see how some of the things were set up so I could do the color coordinating, if you will. And so I just decided, you know what, in the future they're going to have looked at that and said, you know what, ancient humans were dumbasses for doing that, because that isn't very random. So instead on ours we're just going to have it be even, odd, even, odd, even, odd, and then have that odd, odd, even thing in the middle like I was talking about, just so it's a little more differentiated from the roulette that we have today. I mean, because we're talking, this is like, you know, 4 centuries in the future, so I think they would have been able to improve upon roulette in that amount of time. Unless they were dumbasses. Then, of course, they wouldn't be able to. But we're going to give them the benefit of the doubt and say they're smarter than we are. So, I went through and we did just that. Did the color coordinating and put in the values for the roulette wheel vector here. I also added some other stuff that was required, like the bets struct that I have over here in game, and also the roulette, or rather casino AI. And I'm not going to go into my huge AI rant because we're not playing the game right now, but if you watch the Civilization 5 walkthrough whenever it gets released, which who the hell knows when, during like parts 20, between parts 20 and 30, somewhere in there, there's going to be an epic rant about how the game industry does AI crappily, and I'll explain all that then, but I'm not going to do that now. So, well, it was around here somewhere. Oh, there it is, yeah. And eventually what we'll have personality flags that will affect how the AI will act during casino games where they're competing against you, like in poker or blackjack. In roulette, you're not really competing against anyone except the table, except the house, so it doesn't really matter in that case. Although we'll probably still have it because that it'll affect how they bet, their betting patterns. So that's just something that will be added later. But yeah, I've been working on the roulette code here. And first of all, though, we had to set up the AI for the players, and this will be changed every time you go to a different game. Also, I had this idea for having them say Mr. or Mrs. or Miss, depending on the sex of the character, but that's not going to be implemented just yet. It will eventually, but I'll have to separate out the first and last name, if there is a last name, on the character AI code. So we have a first and last name, so we can use just the last name or just the first name if there is no last name. Right now, what the name generation code does is it just generates a first and last name using the prefix, stem, and suffix. And so we'll have to go through and maybe create a special function to do both, or do just the last name, do both separated, or do it, figure out some way to do it that way. This was kind of fun doing this, creating this. I don't know if I went over this yet or not. In the developer's log, the name generation. So essentially what I did is, let me go grab the, just reorder all my frigging icons by accident. Now everything's in strange places. So I have to figure out where everything's at again. If you go back over here, there's a names thing in here somewhere, name DB. So essentially what all these are is, these are suffixes, or prefixes, stems, and suffixes, and there's different types of them. For example, you see some Japanese suffixes here, like hime and tien and ko, and it has some suffixes or prefixes up here that are more. I guess there's one or two that are more Japanese or Asian sounding, and there's some others that are like German and some English ones. But essentially, how it goes is you have the prefixes, then you have the stems. The stems are essentially the middle of the name, so like Kari, Valkari, or Yukari. And they can just either be with the stems themselves or with the prefixes and stems, and that's why they both have capitals. So what I do is in the code is, if there's a prefix, I actually will take the suffix and lowercase it. Or the stem, sorry. There's a prefix being added. But essentially, this is what you just do. You just take some words, some letters, string them together, and you create a stem, and then you add the suffixes and prefixes, and you put them all together to make names. And that's how the name generator works for right now, and probably will work for the rest of time, or at least while I'm working on the non-3D version, although it probably will still be like that in the 3D version, except we'll have a huge, much larger list of names. This is only like, I think 15 each. No, not even 15. 24 divided by 3, I don't know, there's an unequal number of things compared to each other. Because 24 does not go into 3. Well, at least it doesn't as far as I remember. Maybe mathematics has changed over the past couple of weeks, but I don't think it has. So back over to the code, generate the name and all that stuff. Also, the C scope issue that I think I mentioned at one point or another. Finally got a reply on it, and it's actually just a function of C scope itself. It doesn't support C++ or C# fully, just in parts. So it doesn't deal with going into vectors and doing all that stuff like Visual Studio does. So that's something to take into account if you want to start using C-Scope or code blocks. I have asked to see if there is a plugin that acts like C-Scope and has full C++ support. So we'll have to see. It only fully supports C, according to the guy that applied to me. So where are we? Games. Okay. So this is essentially the function that adds the players to the players, AI players to the players vector. And then up here is where we're actually dealing with the betting and whatnot. I've actually got a lot of it done already. For the AI, that is. I still have to go through and do the players. Decided to do the AIs first because it's going to be the larger bit to have to deal with. So essentially everything's based on randoms, and it's differentiated. Sometimes you have the randoms where it goes, range of values for a specific action, or sometimes like with get out of the way, with like the zeros down here, it's just 1 to 4. So 1's 0, 2 is 0, 0, 3 is 0, 0, 0, and 4 is 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. I think that's one extra 0, but whatever, you get the idea. And so that's just kind of how it's set up. They'll place their bets based on a random value between 1 and the number of chips that they have currently. And then the game outputs, the name, and then has placed a bet of number of chips on whatever it is they placed a bet on. In this case, it's the color green. In other words, the zeros. I also added in some defines up here that will deal with returning the bets if they win. So yeah, define if bet return on zeros, you get 20.5% of your bet back, in addition to your entire bet. So in other words, if you had like a bet of, let's say you bet, let's say you're just a rich dumbass and you bet 14,598 chips on 1 chip equals 1 Zarn on zeros. So let's say you win by some stroke of luck. So you're going to get that back times 20.50. So you get back almost 30,000 chips. Or no, almost 300,000 chips from that. Yeah, that's not quite right though, is it? So 45,000. No, I said 24,598. Divided by divided by, damn it, 20.50. How did I figure this? I figured this out somehow, and I've forgotten how I did it. So, what is 20% of? So, 24.5 times 0.250. Okay, so that's more like it. So you would actually get, yeah, about 30,000 back. So like, let's say you had a smaller bet though. Let's say you did 780. And let's say that you won on that one, so you get 0.250 back, so plus 780, so you get a total of 975 back. Now let's go back to, so you just see how that works properly. Let's go back to our huge money rolling bet here, and do the same. Actually, it'd be 2050, wouldn't it? So we're off a little bit on that. That's just a little bit though. Then add that back to our huge bet. So you get about 30,000 chips back. Now in the 3D version, the chips will be represented in different values. Like you'll have a 1 chip, a 10 chip, a 100 chip, and a 1,000 chip. But in the game, since we just use values and there's no actual visual representation, we're just going to do chips that are only worth 1 Zarn. Since we can. And then you have the listening values here. Depending on the type of bet. So if you bet on zeros and 1, you get 20.5 back. On a number, it's 18.45. On a colored green, it's 16.98. And they're arranged by the amount you get back, the percentage you get back, not on the actual bet type. If you bet on the type as if it's even a rod, then you get 14.20 back. Bet on red or blue, or red or black, you get 10.15. Bet on a section is a section small is 8.4, section large is 6.25, quarter, obviously that, and then half 2.35. And that will probably require some tweaking, and those will also be external values in version 0.6. So those will be able to be tweaked by modders and you if you want to change it so you get like 200% back or something. If you want to cheat. So of course you have to remember that changing those values also will affect what the AI can get set. They don't only apply to the player; they apply to the AI as well. So if the AI wins whatever you changed up to 200%, they get their money load as well. So we just got done with sections, and we're going into quarters, which is the blocks themselves. So what we'll do is we've been using rint3, random int3 for the doing all the determining what's going to happen. So we'll do the same here. rint3 equals random 1. Since there's 4 blocks, we'll go 1 to 100, and every 25 will be for another block. So if rint3, I actually want to do an interior one too. So if rint3 is greater than or equal to 1, and if rint3 is less than 26, then continue. Also, if rint3 is 25 or 26 and under 51, and then we just do this another 2 times. Alright, and then so this will be 51, that's 62, not 51, and 76, and then higher than 76. And we can just get rid of this extra crap here. Alright, so that's essentially the breakdown for that. Now we just need to take all this and modify it to fit our needs here. So that's the random number of chips, so that stays the same, this stays the same. Now we just change this to block 1 or whatever the blocks are. Change this to, actually should be quarter 1. For some reason, I don't think that's how you spell quarter. Let's see, maybe it is, and I'm just having a... Let's see, quarter. No, that's it. That's a... Quatrains. So we'll call them quatrains. And yes, that was a first wave reference. For any of you older than dirt people like me that have been watching sci-fi since the 90s. So you just go through and change those things. Just change those few things that you need to change. I'll put the rest in here. Now what we do is we just go through and say, okay, quarter 2, and we just change those now because we already have the other changes there. Quarter 4, and then we do halves, which is the easiest one because there's only going to be 2 of them. So rint3 equals random 1 to 100 if rint3 is less than or equal to 1, and if rint3 is less than or greater than or equal to 1 is less than 51. Else if rint3 is greater than or equal to 51. So fairly easy. Now we just do the same thing there. Copy paste this here. That's interesting. This is off a little bit. Another annoying thing about C-scope is that the tabulating gets, I don't know, off somehow. It's not, it's done by spaces instead of tabs. So it's very easy to get things messed up. I don't know why they did it with spaces and not tabs. Maybe there's a setting somewhere that you can change to fix that. I'll have to see if I can find it or post on the forums and see if anybody knows what the hell to change to fix that. So half 1 alf. Alf from whatever planet he's from. No, half. Change this to half. And leave that as 1. Copy, paste it. Half 2. And half 2. So that's all the AI betting done. So, that's all we really have to do, just the betting part. And then we have to do the player stuff, and then we have to do the actual part where the game will process the spin for the bets and all that. So, P-choice, we haven't made this one yet, so we're going to do that over here in message processing. SMCR bet. Int SMCR bet. Actually, it should be SCMR bet. I bet that's what it is over here. No. I had it backwards. Instead of station menu casino roulette bet, it should be station casino menu roulette bet. Try and say that 10 times fast. Alright, so damn it. Casino roulette bet choice menu 1. That's going to be multiple menus here, because then you have to choose the value that you want. Int SMCMR bet. Casino roulette Ah, damn it. Alright. What the hell? Did I not get the whole thing? I guess not. Oh, frickin' hell. Okay, so 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, just in case we need all of them. I don't think we will. Let's see, number, zeros, color. Or rather, we change this here. Not this. Type bet. Section bet. Actually, I need more than that. Quarter bet. And half bet. Let's take all these and go do them all at once. Okay. So the first one is going to be to choose the type of bet that we want to do. So do our general stuff here. 236. Alright, so 1. Bets on specific number. Couch. 2. Bets on 0. Bet on A0, we'll say. Three bets on a specific color. 4 bets on a specific type. 5 bets on a specific section. Alright. So, now we want to make a new message here. So let's go to message data. And we already got some, so let's use the last one since it has the last used value. Let's change this to 6. Please select a number between 1 and 72. Execute. Please select 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, or that'll be 7. The type and color menus will have just that. We'll just have the normal one right now, the normal numbered menu. The next one that would use something like this, I guess, would be the Sections? Yeah, sections. So 78, I believe. Yeah. $68 rather. Alright, so we got all our stuff out there. All of our values. Alright, so 66 will be the one we want to use first. So count MR message 2066, did I say? I think I did. And yes, I did. 66. Let's see, so P choice is less than 1, or if P choice is greater than 72, count MR message 5. Alright, count. We'll need to add this variable to, I think, to the class. What I also don't like about code blocks is that there's no error checking. You know, in other words, this doesn't exist, but there's no line that underneath there tells you that it doesn't exist. Yes, it doesn't exist. But there's no error, error line like on Visual Studio that tells you, hey, wait a second, this doesn't exist anywhere. Where do I have all that stuff? I know it's like I have a P choice and a PC choice. Here, this one. P choice, string, P choice, or please strings. Alright, so now that exists, so we can use it. If P choice does not equal 0, or P choice, PS choice. Again, there's no error here telling you that, you know, hey stupid, this is an int that you're trying to compare to a string. Which is very strange. It's not equal 0, 0. Actually, these should be and, shouldn't they? Because we want to make sure that, well, let's see. Or means that if any one of these is true, then execute the code. So, if PS choice is 0, then it is not 0, 0, which means it would, yeah, so we need to do and. Because this would trip the code even if it's a valid response. So, we need to make a interior thing here. Both of these. Get rid of these ors and replace them with ands. Because with ands, all of these have to be true in order for the code to execute. That's within the helps in the curly braces. And so if one of these is not true, or is true, then it's not. Well, I guess in this case it's not true. In other words, if PS choice is one of these, then it's not going to execute the code. But if PS choice is not any of these, then it will execute the code. So, and PS choice is not equal, and if PS choice does not equal, then count. This should be a string too, not an int. That'd be the second one. No, this one. Alright. Return PS choice. Okay, and this one would be for color type section quarter half. Okay, color type. Then the section quarter half part. So, color and type are both going to be these type of menus here. So, grab this. Takes a lot of getting used to the fact that it auto-completes the curly braces and parentheses and whatnot. Find myself always trying to add the second one in because I'm used to working in Visual Studio. Return Petros. Seven or 8? 7. No wait, 8, 9, 70. See, less than 1, or Petrus is greater than 8. I'm forgetting to add this. I don't know why I'm doing double equals for. Return Petros. And finally, that should have been 9, 69. Count MR message 2070. Alright, so that's all those done now. And let's go and tie them back in over to here. That's going to be all that I'll be doing for right now. Just wanted to do a little bit of recording, a little bit of coding. And that's been accomplished. So we're going to see how this turned out, and if it's good, I'm going to start on Sci-Fi probably and trying to induce a crash. Been trying to do that for the past couple of days so I can get a crash report in. But that's all explained in the Sci-Fi walkthrough, so you can watch that and see what I'm talking about whenever it gets released. But until next time, this is GeoWell, and I will see you when we start this up, recording up for the 10th developer's log for fish. I can't even talk now. See you when we start the developer's log recording back up. But until then, I will see you later. And damn it. What did I just do? Gotta go down here, I forgot.